Well, aloha everyone, and welcome to this live Healing Moments with Karinna program. And I'm so grateful to see all of you and to have you here with me this day. So before we begin, on this great month of November, welcome to November, the month of balance. And we'll be talking a little bit about that because the number 2 in Lemurian numerology is all about balance. And I think of it as the goddess number because the goddess light is about balance and moving from the yin yang into a balance of love. So the number 2 in the Lemurian numerology asks us to move anything that's out of that's in the yin yang energies into a state of balance. And so in the third dimensional world, we can find ourselves in those situations often that where we're looking at right or wrong or good or bad. But if we move it into balance, especially this month, we can have a better sense of how love is weaving with us all the time. So before we begin, let's just take some deep breaths, and I'm going to offer an opening prayer. Okay, so take a deep breath and draw the golden particles through your crown chakra, through the pineal gland in the center of your head, and let them change into white light as you draw them down into your heart, and then exhale out through your mouth. So 5 breaths, and I'll offer a prayer. And I call upon the Creator's light, the infinite source of all love and light, the Christ light of thought, and the Goddess weave of love, to center us in this trinity of truth, trust, and passion this day. For we know that in entering this month of balance, we are looking at our lives in a balanced way. So what is the reflection that we see of love coming back to us from all around us? And what are the challenges that we have to feeling the light of love in our hearts? So we ask you, Creator Force, to weave with us, to allow us to feel your energy within our hearts, to recognize it in our minds, and to weave with everyone around us in this beautiful goddess light of all love. And so it is in love for our Healing Moments program today. Amen. Okay, so we continue in this month of November. And before we get into the topic this month is, if you believe it, you will see it. And, you know, there's a lot of depth to that statement. So I ask you to, start to consider all of the ways you could understand that particular statement, because at first I thought, well, it's pretty clear. I mean, when you believe it, you'll see it. But let's see, we'll get somebody else in here. Sandra's coming in. So what are the other ways you might understand that statement? If you believe it, you will see it. And I think on my newsletter, I put believe it and you'll see it. So we are looking at our belief systems. And this is something that Pelekino'ahanei talked about in this month's channeling, is what are the belief systems and the beliefs that we have that cause our understanding of the world around us, our relationships, anything. It's our reality. And if you don't believe that, just try and live in another country for a little while, and you will see, like I did, living for many years in Europe, there's a completely different understanding of things that are going on in the world. And I know that a lot of it has to do with the people we surround ourselves with, but it's also something that we have control over. And we'll talk a little bit about how the 10 principles of consciously creating help us to create that in our lives. But first, I wanted to talk about the numerology for this month, which is the 2. And I talked about, it's the yin yang, good, bad, moving into balance. And we also want to look at the numerology of the dates coming up this month, and certain things in the celestial energies in the sky that we can watch for. And one of those things that we can watch for is because we just had a new moon in Taurus. Just last night was the new moon. And I love to follow this because this was such an important energy for the Native Hawaiians and for the Lemurians, was understanding the relationship between themselves and the celestial energies and all of the seasons that unfolded. So, of course, the Native Hawaiians didn't have a day calendar. They had a moon calendar. And I've been immersing myself in that in the last couple of years. And I just really, it has opened a whole new understanding of the sky to me. And I appreciate it. So new moon yesterday, and then coming up, we'll start to see the crescent moon in the evening sky right after sunset. And if you look tomorrow, because it's 6 today, if you look tomorrow on the 7th, you'll see Venus with the crescent moon, which is a beautiful conjunction and a meeting of Venus and the gatekeeper. And so if you want to know more about the cycle of Venus, the 584-day cycle of Venus, she's now in her evening star phase, but very soon going to end the cycle and rise in the east at sunrise into a new form. If you want to read about that, you can go on my website in the Lemurian Wisdom blog. There is a write-up about the ancient Sumerian legend of Inanna, which is also Venus. So we could see that on 11/7, which is a great number because it's a 9, and I love 9s because we're completing and moving into a new energy. And then we also have the 11/11, which is full 4-body balance, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, energy on all 4 bodies. Some put energy of a gate, an opening portal on this time. And I invite you to tune in on this as well, that you go into meditation and meditate on your 4 bodies and the balance. So feel yourself, where is my physical body a little bit out of balance, or where's my emotional, mental, or spiritual body? How can I balance these out through breathing? 5 breath self-healing meditation, which I'll tell you a little bit about more later. There are some that celebrate this day as the Lemurian New Year. And I don't dispute that. I also think that's a wonderful custom, to think that the Lemurians took the 4-body balance day as a New Year day. So it's a beginning of a new cycle. And anyway, this time of year of Samhain in the ancient Celtic tradition is the new year. So this Scorpio season brings forth a new year energy. And the calendar that we have to put, the beginning of the year in January is just kind of a made up thing that doesn't relate to anything in the celestial world or, earth-based beliefs. So we could celebrate it as a new year, and I invite you to. So that's 11/11. And then we have a very important time for the Native Hawaiians, and also it's a connection to the Lemurian wisdom, and that is on 11/17 through the 20th. It's kind of varying when we can see them, but the Makali'i will be rising, and the Makali'i is the Hawaiian name for the Pleiades. The Makali'i, the little eyes. So if you look at them in a dark sky, you'll understand why does it look like little eyes. So the 7 sisters will be rising right at sunset. So we can see them now of course, when I go out early in the morning, I see them in the top of the sky, right above my head. But on these days, go out at sunset and see right as the sun goes down. Can you see the Makali'i on the eastern horizon? And let me know when you see them, because there's a kind of a hill in front of my eastern horizon, so it might take a little bit longer for me to actually see them. So between the 17th and the 20th is the rise of the Makali'i, and this heralds the season of peace, the Makahiki season, which is the time of peace, sportsmanship. It was also the time when people paid their taxes. I was talking to my husband about that last night, explaining this is the Makahiki season when people offered food. He goes, well, they didn't have money. And I said, yeah, they offered food. They put food on the altars, on the ahu. So this is a time of a great celebration for the Native Hawaiian people. And we can celebrate it as well. It would be wonderful if we could all celebrate a peaceful time on our earth plane. And then on 11/18, we're going to have a visible total, almost total, I mean, just like this much off of total lunar eclipse here in the Hawaiian Islands. We'll be able to see it pretty early in the evening. It begins about 8 p.m. and it's total at 11. So it's not like we have to get up in the middle of the night, like some of you on the mainland US will have to, but the lunar eclipse in Taurus. So each of us is invited to enter the portal, even if you're not looking at the eclipse. But if you are at that time of totality or close to totality, when it starts to turn red, you know, the shadow of the earth is over the moon, go into your heart and feel a portal opening to this upcoming new year. I invite you to already begin now to plan out your new year, to think about, you know, what you want to release as we go through the end of the year holidays, and start to consciously create your new year with the belief that if you see it, if you believe it, you will see it. So start to believe and create what you want in your life. All right. So this a little bit about the dates. So yes, also we need to choose a Lemurian prophecy card. So the Lemurian prophecy cards, I always keep them in this little box here. And I do the Lemurian prophecy card readings, which I learned from Kahu Fred Sterling. And there's only about 4 of us that actually do these readings. But here are my cards, my Lemurian prophecy cards. And this was discussed in the book. Wait, let me get it. And this is available on the signaturecellhealing.com online store in the Cure Lemurian Legacy for the Great Shift. And that's a beautiful book about the Lemurian time. So I'm going to shuffle 5 times because 5 is the number for love. So we're gonna put love into the cards and choose one card for today's gathering. All right, so everybody send your energy into the cards. Got it. And we're gonna cut the cards and look. This is so perfect. Check it out. Okay, so we have the number 5, which I already told you means love. And the suits in the Lemurian prophecy card readings are the diamonds are the physical body, the hearts are the emotional body, the spades are the spiritual body, and the clubs are the mental body. So how perfect is this, that when you think in love, you will see love in your life. So if you believe it, you'll see it. And we want to believe in love, so we see love manifesting. Because the other side, and we'll just get right into the topic. And if you have, everybody's going to be on mute during the program. And if you have a question and you want to say it, with your coming on with your voice, you can raise your hand, or you can type your question into the chat. Okay, so the idea also about that, if you believe it, you will see it, is when we have fearful beliefs, we can slip into that and have that manifest in our lives. So if we believe that fear, it's going to manifest for us. So what do you think you'd like to do? And this is what I decided, that I would try to make my life as positive as possible. Focus on the things in my life that give me joy and pleasure, and the fun things in life, and release the fears. Because if I'm focusing on the fear of lack, for example, lack of money, a lack of time, not enough of this, not enough of that, it's going to happen for me. And I'm going to create it. I'm going to, it's unconscious creation, actually, right? So why not consciously create? And yeah, Sandra is talking about the card, the five of clubs is just a perfect representation of what we're talking about today. And the cards are never wrong. They're just about the person and all of us interpreting what the cards say. The cards are never wrong, so I love them. Anyway, so this is our topic, and I want to share that Pelekino'ahanei has an awesome channeling this month that I put forth, and that is also the title of the channeling. Actually, it's Believe It and You Will See It. And so she did say in the very beginning of that channeling, believe it. If you believe it, you will see it. And I invite you to check out the channeling, and we'll talk a little bit more about it in a minute, but check it out in the Channeled Wisdom blog on my website. And you get some great hits on it. We'll talk a little bit more about it in a minute. So Mahina Ku has a share to enhance our meditation on 11/11. Okay, so would you like to come on? Okay, so you are there. Okay, so tell us.
So what I wanted to say was I went to a class recently, and the class enlightened us that if we had one black stone and one white stone that we would meditate with when we want to balance duality, that the black stone and the white stone would help you physically do that. And so I just thought that was such a fun thing. So everybody go out and get a black stone. This is Numite. And a white stone. This is selenite.
Selenite.
And hold it in your hand as you meditate. And the 11/11 is like perfect time to use these little helpers in our lives and enhance your meditation.
That's a wonderful share. Thank you very much. Can I add a little bit to go ahead and turn it up? You look like you're in a Grecian temple. It's fabulous. Okay, so thank you for that share. I'd like to add a balancing comment, and love that photo of you, Mahina Ku. Maybe because I took it. What if you meditate? You're talking about the black and the white stones. What if you meditated, take it to another level, and get a rose quartz? Get something pink, or rhodochrosite, or something. I like rhodochrosite because it's so powerful. Get a pink stone and hold that. Even you can even do it after you do your black white, because the focus that we really want is balance, right? Not the duality. And I do agree that you are in your meditation, you're probably bringing that into your heart and balancing it. but let's focus clearly on what we want in our lives, and what I want, and what I want to believe is there is love. There is love everywhere, and love is just raising its hand all over the place in my life to say, hey, pay attention to me, look at me. And sometimes, and you might find this in your life too, it doesn't look like love, or what does love look like? But you think, well, that's not, that feels a little fearful, or that's challenging for me. But I want you to consider that it might be love in a disguise. And this love is going to get your attention, and you're going to feel something. There's some kind of reflection from that situation, or from that person, or from whatever that is trying to get your attention to release something within yourself, or to recognize something within yourself. And I say that because I had this experience, and this is in the article, the Believe It and You'll See It, the channeling. When I was driving my car in our neighborhood and going someplace, I was driving my car, and I came to a crosswalk. And that's a crosswalk where I often cross when I'm walking around my neighborhood, and cars stop for me. So I thought, well, there's a lady over there and she wants to cross the street, so I'm going to stop for her. And when I stopped, I looked at her and I said, hey, she kind of looks like me. And then I started laughing because, she walked across the street, and I said to myself, hey, I let myself cross the street. And I just started laughing. And then as I was driving along, I saw another woman walking, and I thought, that's me too. That's me too. And I didn't even think about the depth of meaning of what I was saying, but I just went on and went to my where I was going. And when I came back later that day and went into meditation, I got it on a whole new level. And what I replayed that whole thing in my mind of me letting myself cross the street, of me saying hello to myself walking down the street. And then I started seeing the light of love, my own light, in everybody else's eyes all around me. I saw my friends. I saw people that maybe I don't get along with all that well. I saw the same light in their eyes. And I mean, it was just like playing in front of me. And I just started crying because it was so deep and so meaningful for me personally. And at that moment, there was this dome of light. It felt like with my eyes closed, I could see and I could feel this dome of light coming down over me. And I thought to myself, my goodness, is that what happens when we move from the third to the fourth and into the fifth dimension? Is this the light that's coming down now that enables people, when they're ready, to feel the love everywhere around them? And so I asked Pelekino'ahanei about that experience, and if that meant that people were going to have that opportunity offered to them. I mean, even if they aren't, consciously meditating like we are, right? We're meditating, we're doing the 5 breath self-healing meditation. We're focusing on our evolutionary growth. Well, what if there's people that aren't, they're just kind of living a yin yang life, and do they have that opportunity now too? And she gave me the most beautiful answer. And I just want to summarize part of it. She said, first, it is about comprehending it in your mind and allowing the awareness into your heart. So that's actually what I did, was I kind of thought about it, I comprehended it, and then I felt it in my heart. So, when people say, oh, just feel it. Yeah, you can feel it, but at some point your mind is gonna weigh in and help you understand it. And I think that comes first for a lot of people. allowing the awareness into your heart where you have the feeling of love. The understanding is then felt on all four bodies, physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual, all feeling the love and letting go of whatever needs to be released in order to adjust to this new four-body balance. So fourth dimension, four-body balance. And as we get to four-body balance, the light, we sense the light. Let's get somebody else in here. We sense the light, and it permeates our lives. So what she also said was begin in your own life and in the world around you to feel love and to see it within all others around you. So that's exactly what happened in that experience of me, letting myself cross the street. I don't know. What do you guys think about that? I mean, when you think about that situation, because it happens every day that we go out and we interact with people in our lives, and there's maybe we don't even think about that person that helped us at the market and checked us out and packed up our food, and that person is just another part of us. And that also comes into that channeling as well, that what we do to other people, we do to ourselves, and what we do to Mother Earth, we're doing to ourselves, which is really timely when we think about what's happening in Glasgow right now, when talking about the climate change. What we're doing to the planet is what we're doing to ourselves. And it's easy to intellectualize that and to say that, but I think each of us will get to a point when we really feel it, when we feel that. And I know a lot of the young people feel that. They feel it, they know it. And older people like me or us, we've come through different times, but this is, times are changing, and the fourth dimensional light and fifth dimensional light is coming in now. So another thing that was said in that channeling was, your world is created by a convergence of your belief. You create the reality that you exist in and give focus to your thoughts and beliefs. Your mind tells you what is or is not real. When you change what you believe, you will change your reality. And that is key to moving forward in love through this great shift in consciousness. So, I mean, I believe that. Do you? If that's so, what do we do about it? What if we're all, immersed in some kind of big drama that we can't seem to get out of? Or, what if we're having relationship issues that, we're arguing with people, or we just can't get along with family, or whatever else? I mean, I had that situation for many, many years, that I just didn't get along with my family at all. So what do we do about it? And I actually wrote about my situation when this book came out, wait, let me get this right. The Cure All the 10 Principles of Consciously Creating, and it came out in about 2001. Can you believe that? 20 years ago. Anyway, at that time, I wrote a letter to my mentor, Kahu Fred Sterling. Let me see, when was that? Oh, 2003, okay. But that was after the principles had come out and we had started using them. And a lot of people were saying, oh, they don't work. And I tried them, it doesn't work. And I was using them and they were working for me. And it was pretty dramatic. And so I wrote this letter to my mentor, and they put it in the book. That said, this is how it's working for me. So the 10 principles of consciously creating is, there's a kind of a rundown of each of the 10 principles on my website in the Lemurian Wisdom blog. That's where you can just get an overview. I teach about it in the Signature Cell Healing workshops and in the First Steps to Signature Cell Healing online course, which I'm considering March of next year. Wait for the date. I just got to find the date. we talk about the 10 principles of consciously creating, because they are the foundation of the Lemurian society. So the Lemurians didn't have laws, they didn't have, courts or things like that. They had the 10 principles. And also in that book that I talked about before, the Kira Lemurian Legacy for the Great Shift, you can read how the people raised their children in the 10 principles. And that is really beautiful. The way that the children first learned about truth, trust, and passion, the first 3 principles. And then as they moved on and got older into their teenage years, they could get into clarity, communication, and completion, which helped them move through Lemurian society. And then the 4 pillars, prayer, meditation, sleep state programming, and masterminding, were the keys to interacting with the spirit light. So it was so ingrained in the Lemurian society, and it's so important for us now because we are going through a great shift in consciousness, just like the Lemurians did, from first life to common time. That was their 3rd dimension, and the 4th dimension, like we're experiencing now. First life to common time, and then to transition. Those were the 3 eras of Lemurian evolution. And we're repeating that now. So why not use the tools of Lemurian wisdom that help them? And that includes the 10 principles and the goddess light and the Lemurian numerology, all of which you can learn more about in readings with me, but also in the great books from where I learned about it in working with Kahu Fred Sterling and Master Guide Kiro. I was the manager of their publishing company. So I immersed myself in all this stuff through over the years, all of this stuff, all of this great wisdom, and began as a transcriber of the channeling sessions. So there's so much wisdom that we have access to, and whatever you feel called to, you can explore it. And there's a brand new signature cell healing website with a great online store that has lots of videos and MP3s and things like that you might like to explore. So if you believe it, you will see it. And so when you recognize that that there's something else, that there's a reflection in your life, of your beliefs, think about that, and then get into the 10 principles and ask yourself, what is the truth? And the truth has got to be synonymous with love. So if it's not about love in some way, somehow, it's not the truth. And so how can that be? And the greatest example is always, Kahu Fred Sterling always said, the person that you work with walks in with this really loud aloha shirt, and it's blazing different colors. It's just outrageous, and says, "How do you like my new shirt?" And in your mind, you're thinking, well, I really don't like that shirt, so that brings up all kinds of questions, like, how would you tell somebody that in love, number one? And if you can't, then maybe it's not the truth, because the truth might be that what difference does it make to you whether you like the shirt or not? It's that guy's shirt or that woman's shirt. And maybe the question could be, how do you like the shirt? Would you tell me how you like the shirt? So, that's just something to think about. What is the truth in your life? So if you can start with the truth and then take it all the way through the principles to masterminding. And when you get to masterminding, you're going to be creating, that's the 10th principle. You're going to be creating, and we talked about that last month, and that was a great, in my humble opinion, it was a great program about masterminding and consciously creating your life. So if you're masterminding, you would want to have a positive statement that states what you want in your life. and take off all the limits, and don't say, well, I probably couldn't have that, or no, nobody would let me have that, or it's not possible. And just make a statement. People call them affirmations too. Make a statement and run the 10 principles through it. Run the other 9 principles through it. What's the truth, trust, and passion? Can you really feel that statement? Clarity, run it by somebody else and see what's the clarity that you get back from that other person. So how do we get our beliefs to manifest in our lives? I believe it's with the 10 principles of consciously creating. And I also think it's about something that we talk about in signature cell healing, and that is the 5 or 50. And that means when you take a step forward towards your goal, you see you have this goal out there, right? And you want to have let's just say something like a new car. You want to have a new car, right? So you put it out there, and you don't have the money for it, and there aren't any chips anymore because of the pandemic, and there are no cars or whatever, whatever the limits are that you're putting on your mastermind. Put it out there and do the journey toward it. So take a step, take 5 steps, and then you go, oh, I didn't get it because that kind that I wanted, they don't have chips for it. So, and then you can either sit down and cry about it, or you can take another 50 steps until you get your mastermind, until you arrive at where you were planning on going. And if you sit down and cry, I mean, nobody's gonna, there might not be somebody that says, oh, come on, get up, get up, get up. No, you have to do it. It's your conscious creation. So you stand up. You can cry for a little while if you want to, but it's not going to get you where you want to go. So stand up and take another step and do the 5 or 50 that gets you. In other words, don't quit, don't give up, and don't say that the principles don't work, because the principles work, but you just have to keep going. Just keep going. And why do you want to keep going and keep going? Because first of all, because if you don't keep going, it's going to be the same thing over and over again. And that's what I said in the write-up on the webpage about this, is something about, how can we get over, replace the old thought patterns that keep us doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result, right? So if you keep doing the same thing, you've got to change something, in other words, So get up and take another look at your mastermind and run it through the 10 principles again and see, well, where was I off with that? And what are my thoughts about that? Where would I be consciously not in love with myself, that I deserve that, or that I'm worthy of that? And really get honest with yourself. That's where the truth also comes in. And just keep doing the journey. Don't give up. And you will get there. Because why? Because we all come into this world with a blueprint. We make a life blueprint before we enter our incarnate life. And it has to do with the sperm and the egg come together, and then eventually that spark of light hits the egg and the sperm, and your blueprint is delivered. This is the essence of you that comes in and brings the life plan of what you want to do here. So as we do these overcome these challenges or move through all of the conscious creation that we want to do, we're evolving and we're aging our soul. So the ultimate object, the ultimate goal, I guess you could say, for all of us, is aging our soul. We came here to find out, discover deeper and deeper levels of love. And that is about aging our soul. And we all come to do it in unique ways. I mean, if you look anywhere around you, people are doing all kinds of different journeys, aren't they? There's some are, and it has to do with soul age. We talk about this in the signature cell healing workshops too. There are younger souls that end up in jail or they off the earth plane, they get shot or whatever, and There are other medium-age souls and then older souls. So all of us are moving through that evolutionary process of discovering the Creator's light within us. And the 10 principles are the principles that help us to age our souls and to evolve into new levels of awareness. And that's really what the Great Shift is all about. So I'm going to take a breath now and see if anybody has any questions or if any shares about that. Bryn, thank you for joining us today. I appreciate that. And I'm just checking to see if there was anything else. Oh, while we're waiting, if you have anything you want to put in the chat, or you can raise your hand. I also wanted to invite you to sign up for the newsletters on my website. I have a new website. It's taken me a while to get used to, but I like it very much now. I'm getting the hang of it. And there's also a new signature cell healing website. And I'm getting used to that one too. I mean, as far as managing it, for you folks coming in on the front end, it's beautiful, both of them. And the online store, and there's some discounts in the Signature Cell Healing online store on printed books, and just tons of audio recordings in there that you can enjoy. Every month we do the global healing meditation for Mother Earth, and this is something that I began with the goddess group that I'm a part of, the Goddess Weave of Silver Wings of Light. And we started this maybe 25 years ago. And every month, 3 nights before the full moon, we join with people around the world. And it's at 9 o'clock your local time. So it creates like a wave of light that's going around the planet. And we are the last time zone that does it. So by the time we in Hawaii go into meditation, we do the 5 breath self-healing meditation, and we send our light to Diamond Head Crater, where all the others have gathered. And when you go in there in meditation, just look around and email me, tell me what you see, because I see a lot of energies in there from all different realms and levels of light. And then we create a weave that is anchored into the core of Mother Earth, and we send it around the world. And our focus in the last few months, and this month again as well, is the water systems of Mother Earth. And we have the elven shamanic energies working with us to energize and to beautify the water systems of Earth. So this is something that everyone can participate in. There's information about it on my website under events. And you can also wait for look on Facebook or also Instagram for the announcement. But this coming month, it will be November 16th, which is a Tuesday at 9 p.m. your local time. So I invite you to join us and let me know what you find out. And I also wanted to thank Sedona Journal. I put this on my Facebook page to find my picture on the cover. Every year, everybody waits for the predictions issue. So Pelekino'ahanei has the channeling. We have her channeling in there for 2022 and what's coming up for us. So I invite you to get your Sedona Journal, or you can wait for the December article, which I'm going to send my newsletter participants, and it'll be there, so you can read it there as well. But I'm grateful to Sedona Journal every month for publishing my channelings. It's very great. If we're almost out of time. And so if you don't have any questions or shares, I mean, consider how this affects you and your life right now. This idea of when you believe it, you'll see it. And how does it help you to look at your own systems of belief or the things that you think right now are true in your life, consider that, if not right now, the rest of this month, when we can come into an energy of balance that will allow. Oh, no, I didn't get a question. Sandra, did you have a question? Go ahead and put it in the chat or come on live. It doesn't matter. Oh, there she is. Sandra, I love the purple. You knew I was going to say that. Yeah, go ahead.
It got deleted, so I'll speak it instead.
Go ahead.
It's an obvious one, Karinna, but it's how we learn, and it's just that with personal experiences we can change our beliefs. And so, like, even, can I mention this, even with the pandemic, you know, if we've already been with these associated, even from a distance, with a group that, you know, quote unquote, doesn't believe that it really exists and all this stuff, but then we get hit with it in one way or another, then
hit with
obviously, what? With COVID.
Okay.
I can say that. So obviously we're suddenly going to start believing something that the group consensus doesn't believe. And this can happen with all kind of things. It can happen with people, with our interactions, our relationships with people who are not totally honest with consistently with everybody about how they represent or characterize ourselves. You know, they'll talk to us about their beliefs about us in a different way than they talk to others.
Okay.
And so that's the world of duality, I guess, but that makes this world challenging to some of us. So then we have to, like, correct them to others, so that for the sake of loving ourselves and not let that person misrepresent us, you know, as you mentioned. Wow. You know, and some of us are going through some of this.
Yes, absolutely. We're all going through it.
I mean, I call it garbage, though. I call it garbage.
Huh? So I'm sorry, I missed that.
I call it garbage. I'm sorry.
Garbage.
To some extent. I mean, then we ask, why do we have to go through this? We know how we should relate to people, how they should relate to us. So
okay.
we are their teachers. I mean, so
wow.
we have, like you said, like, some of us seem forced to be, I mean, we have life lessons. We came here maybe reluctantly to have to deal with some of this stuff.
Okay, so let me take your question from there, because Sandra, you put so much wisdom in that question. So I'm just going to put you on mute, and I'm going to continue to answer what you said. Now, there's so much wisdom in your expression there. You said a lot of things, and, you know, I'm not going to repeat all of them, but there is deep wisdom in what you're saying. And what we're all going through is the deepest challenges that we can have, because we're not coming back. Those of us that want to get through our life lesson plans, I'm not coming back to the third dimension. You know, I don't know about you. I don't want to repeat this. I want to get my lessons now. I want to learn about love, and I want to learn about loving myself. So number one thing is, the truth is about love. And if the truth is about love, then it's self-love first. So it's the love for myself, and not about other people, but number one. And, you know, a lot of people listening to that might say, well, that's awfully selfish, isn't it, Karinna? But it's not. I'm not talking about that kind of love. I'm talking about nurturing the self and getting myself out of situations, or moving away from people and situations that are not in love for me. and it's things that are draining my energy. And I keep this little piece of paper over here by my desk, and it says, resistance to anything consumes huge amounts of energy that ultimately weaken and deplete our life force. So I keep that right there. So I remember that whenever I feel myself in resistance to something, then I'm giving my energy to that situation, and it can affect and it has previously affected my physical body or my emotional body or whatever. It's just taking away my life force. So what do I do about that? I have to accept what is, and I have to move towards love. And I do that with a mastermind statement or clarity on how do I want my life to be. And I don't want to live my life in fear, and I don't want to live myself surrounded by people in fear. So if I'm surrounded by people in fear, I've got to look at some kind of fear within me that's being reflected back to me. And when you first spoke about the groups that are doubting COVID or something like that, the thing is, be very careful. And I'm just saying this in general, not necessarily about COVID, but be very careful about the groups that you align yourself with or that you listen to as truth. Be very careful, because the truth, the real truth, is within your heart. And you won't, if it doesn't resonate with your heart in love, then perhaps that's not the truth for you. Maybe you need to search out a deeper truth and let that kind of group go, or a fear, something that's based in fear and not in love. So ask yourself that question when you're in a situation like that. Is this in love? And if it's not in love, what is in love? What would be in love for you in that particular situation? Because it can't be about the other people. It has to be about the self, because this is my life and I'm in control of it. And I'm putting more love into my life to create a life without fear, step by step, and immersing myself in love so that I can feel it, see it in the people around me. I don't know. I hope that answers and gives you some. And I suggest you replay this part because I can't remember everything I said there, but I think it probably was a pretty good answer. Anyway, thank you, Sandra. Thank you so much, because that is the essence of what we're talking about here. Thank you so much. Anybody else want to come on? Because we're a little over time, but no matter. I'm so grateful for this opportunity to talk to everyone for this month. And the month of November is all about balance, and it's all about moving in the Lemurian numerology, right? Moving from duality into balance, and balance is about love, and love on all four bodies, which we can feel, just like Mahinaku was talking about on the meditation on 11/11. Bring that into your meditation. Focus on moving the duality into love, and feel that four body balance. Our next Healing Moments program is going to be Saturday, December 4th, when we move into the Trinity month. And we're wrapping up the year of love 2021 and moving into a year of mastery. So if you think that we've got a big year coming up, you're right about that, because we are moving totally into this 2022, which together makes us 6, and that's the number for mastery. So tune in next month, and I'll look forward to seeing you then. I want to say aloha to everyone and look forward to seeing you again soon. You can email me at KarinnaNielsen.com, and I'm so happy to have been with you today. Aloha, everyone. Bye-bye.